Hey guys, welcome to another episode of J. Avenue's podcast. I'm your host Jay, and this week we're going to talk about negative environments, also what to do, and the reason for why you may be surrounded by people who are jealous of your growth. I know I touched on it a little bit in my reel on this channel, but we're going to dive in a little bit deeper. So let's get started. Have you ever been in those situations where you've maybe shared a piece of your personal business to a family or a friend, and they started to tell you about what they would have done, and this is before you even finish? Like, you're in the middle of telling them your personal business, and before you finish, they're already telling you what they would have done, what you should have did, and how you seem weak because you didn't do what they would have done. And maybe you acted maturely and didn't get angry, or maybe you didn't get violent. Maybe you did the right thing and you weren't petty, and because of that, you're seen as soft. Or they keep telling you how they would have handled it, or I would have done it this way, I would have knocked him out, I would have got my revenge, I would have done this, but you're not like me. I would have showed you how it's done. That kind of attitude. I know we've probably all been in that situation, and what that does is it kind of downplays our initial reaction, our initial response, and now you feel judged and criticized, and you were only sharing with them. You were only venting to them, really. You were only looking for them to listen, not judge. And oftentimes we surround ourselves with people who cannot do that. They can't help but be judgmental and compare. And it just creates this negative vibe, because now you're in your feelings. Now you're like, I don't even want to share nothing else with you no more. Like, you had one assignment and you didn't understand the assignment. So I know we've been through that situation, and it's like when you even mention to them what happened, like when you say to them, look, I just wanted you to listen. Like, trust me, I got it taken care of. I can handle it. I was just sharing or updating you. That's it. They get defensive. They get so defensive. They stop speaking. They have an attitude. It happens. And it's, I had to realize with myself that I had to learn how to purge my social circle. Okay, because some people will always be tied down to the wheel of misfortune and negativity. That's what I refer to it as. And it's like, you have to understand that these are people who are operating in survival mode. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. They can't help but be pessimistic and defensive. Everything has to be rough, and it's like a sink or swim, fight or flight. Everything has to be, they have to always be on guard. Everything comes with anxiety for them. They can never calm down in any situation, because to them, everyone has it out for them. And you may notice that you grow apart from some folks' energies, and you need to separate yourself in certain aspects. I've noticed that along the way, and the sucky part about that is that you end up having less and less friends or interactions with these people, less friends to talk to, until you appear alone. And that's because you realize that everyone you've surrounded yourself with up to this point has one thing in common, that their survival mode is activated. So it's like, that's when you realize, damn, is everyone around me negative? What have I been encouraging? What have I been creating and surrounding myself with? And so, yeah, you grow apart from that. And when survival mode is activated for these people, there's a lot of mistrust and bitterness there. There's doubt and fear there. There's pride and an excessive ego there, with little to no room for hope. It's like you notice you're like the only one or one of a few people who give a crap enough to change and function differently. And so now you doing that is now a threat to them. So some may become jealous of your growth. And they'll say, oh, you've changed. It's like they loved you in your unevolved state. They love to see you in your unevolved state. They love to see your old self show up. They want you to stay stuck in this space with them because they're comfortable there. It's comforting. Survival mode. Remember, survivor mode. It's like I can survive if I stay comfortable in known territory. So it's like their comfort is tied to not their comfort, but their courage. Their courage is tied to their comfort and aggression, intimidation. They know how to move amongst the negative environments. And so here you are. Now you expect them to go with you to the positive side? Really? Nah, fam, I can't do that. It won't work. That's what they're saying to you. So you have to face the ugly truth that they can't come with you on this journey. And you notice that you end up telling them less. You end up speaking to them less and only about superficial things until you just grow out of that. So I just want to remind you that if this is the case, then it just means that you are on the right track. Again, I've touched on this already. You can visit the channel to see the short reel I did about why people may envy you when you're growing. And it all ties into our negative environments. We've allowed this to go on. This is not new. And their jealousy stems from the reality that they haven't grown. And you have. The comparison, compare and contrast. You've grown and they haven't. That's why they want you to be stuck in the past behaviors and attitudes. It's comfortable. It's what they've known all this time, and you've allowed it because you didn't know any better, because you weren't trying to grow at one point either. Or maybe you were growing in another way. So it's like they're afraid of change and discomfort, and it will force them to learn new methods of defense. And they aren't built for that because they've suffered enough, and being stuck in the negative feelings of hate and revenge can take a toll on one's soul. They can't be let down by surprise ever again. That's why they're in survival mode. Like, I can't be played again. I can't be fooled again. It's like they've already at that point to where it's sink or swim for them. So they're really intense and they're in defense mode. So you must continue to move forward out of your comfort zone anyway. And I had to learn that. And I had to learn specifically that I had to learn to shut up and not share certain personal experiences, good or bad. Because either I was envied because of it, or they would celebrate my downfall. And they would judge me for it. So I understood that when it comes to downfalls, some downfalls are necessary. Some are necessary in life because you have to learn lessons which help elevate you to the next level. It helped elevate you along the way, but they couldn't see that. They didn't understand that. All they saw was change. No. Block. It is a defense mechanism. They cannot help it. And it was so crazy for me because I always thought that in my college years that I had this tremendous amount of growth. And that I experienced growth wholeheartedly, but I can now see that the growth in my college years was more physical, career-based, ambition-centered. That's what it was mostly. It was on a superficial level. And that's why I didn't notice the aggression around me. I didn't notice the aggression that I surrounded myself with. Because it camouflages with it. It camouflages into that very same type of growth. Because think about it. In order to be growing ambitiously, right? You're growing in terms of your ambition, right? You have to have some level of aggressiveness in you to pursue those goals. And I was pursuing them full force. To grow in those kind of ways, it's like they correlate, they correspond with each other. And the pride, the ego has to be high for you to be able to believe in yourself that you can do it and you need to do it, even if you're faking it. You got to have that false sense of confidence. Again, you're surrounded by negative environments, it's going to camouflage. You're not going to notice. It's not until you try to grow spiritually that we know how important the positive side is. And when we grow spiritually, you know that you have to get rid of all that stuff. And you learn to channel ambition differently by using more positive things like your faith and self-worth, sense of self, all those things. You start to use that to drive you as far as ambition. But initially, you're going to do it the easy way, which is aggression. That fiery spirit. So, I can say now that where I am now, I'm more of on my spiritual growth process. And because of that, it's so much deeper now. I'm so grateful and happy, but it's like, I know I don't own a mansion, I don't own a yacht, but damn it, I'm spiritually rich as hell. So I'm just relieved and happy all the time, and it annoys people. That's another way that you know your environment could be a little negative, because now you're happy all the time and people are actually mad at you. They're actually annoyed with you because to them it doesn't seem like it's possible. Why is she so damn happy? And I'm over here and I'm not happy. What is she doing that I'm not doing? And they know what it is, but they don't want to do the work. They don't want to do that because that work is just too deep. They don't have time for that. We're in survival mode. We gotta hurry up and get what we gotta get. So right now I'm just in the process of still trying to find my tribe, but I'm content by myself for now until I do. But I just need you guys to understand, if you're in this situation, please understand that you will lose some people along the way, because you have to find your tribe. And until then, just sit back and chill out for a while and just observe focus on operation, get out of survival mode. That's what you got to do. And so when you're having these talks with people about certain things that's going on in your day to day, and they already doubt you, they're already saying how, you're weak for this, and you don't know what you're doing, and this is only because you're actually doing the right thing. You're actually being considerate. You're actually doing things the right way, without the hate, without the anger, without the bitterness and the jealousy. Because you're not tapping into those energies, they automatically say, oh, you weak. Because for many years, socially and culturally, a lot of us have grown up in environments where if you do not yell, if you do not scream, if you do not shout, if you do not fight all the time, you're not strong. You're not seen as strong. If you are soft-spoken, or you speak eloquently, maybe you speak in a calm tone, maybe you are someone who rationalizes and tries to see both sides, anything like that is weak, period. That is what people have been taught. And that's something we need to unlearn. People are violent all the time. You go to the coffee shop and they run out of coffee and people are ready to kill you. It's like, this is not my place. I don't own this place. I just work here. They want to kill you. That's the first instinct for them. If someone cuts you off, road rage, you're ready to attack. Attack mode always. Because it's about respect. And I get it. But sometimes it could be excessive and unwarranted. And people don't care now. You leave your house and there's a greater chance that you'll die for something that is out of your control. I've seen it. I've even seen when in the parking lot at the grocery store, you want to park right next to the disabled parking. You want to park right by the front of the grocery store. And guess what? Someone takes your parking space. But guess what? The lot is freaking empty. There's another space even closer on the other side. But no, this was my spot. You ready to jump out the car and kill this person. And you have a gun in your glove compartment. You ready to reach for it. Just to show them. I'm going to show you. But is it that serious? Is it necessary in that moment? Where do we hold ourselves responsible for our own behaviors? And it's okay not to always reach for your gun and want to shoot somebody because you're inconvenienced. It's okay not to want to shoot that person or fight them or beat them up, or raise hell so you can know how it feels. Like, it's okay not to do that. And guess what? Doesn't mean you're weak. That's what we have to understand. We have to redefine weak and strong. We have to understand the difference. And you could even get to the point that maybe you're so evolved you don't even see weaknesses as weaknesses anymore. They're opportunities for growth. This is a conversation that definitely is important because I'm so tired of seeing people fly off the handle because for no reason. People are angry all the time. Don't you get tired? Isn't your soul tired of being angry? I used to get angry all the time, and that was draining as hell. It's draining. And not to mention the health issues that you bring upon yourself. Stress levels are through the roof. Blood pressure is high. Like, come on, why are we still operating this way? Clearly we know it does not work. But no, all that matters is you want a temporary satisfaction that you got the bigger balls. Never mind the consequences that come with it. The temporary and permanent consequences. Just because you were inconvenienced. Do you know how entitled you have to be to have a problem with being inconvenienced? So these negative behaviors and attitudes and environments are all from survival modes. This is why people act the way they do. A lot of people are operating in survival mode. And to me, survival mode is just fear. So I think if you're in that situation where you're surrounded by a lot of people who are like that, and you're trying to operate differently, you're trying to build a different vibe, you definitely need to check your environments and your spaces and have that honest conversation with yourself to say, this isn't it. And so those people you probably aren't going to be able to share everything with, because they're not going to understand, because their perspective is tainted. Some of their perspectives are tarnished by the negative. It's so cloudy with negative energy. They can't see straight. They can't see the logic on the other side. They can't see the light. There is no light. They're just surrounded by complete darkness. And they're not even willing to face the darkness in order to see the light. So you just have to manage your expectations with them as well, because some of us may be stuck with these people because maybe they're family and you don't want to get rid of them. You don't want to be at a distance. Maybe it's somebody who you live with. So you may be stuck to where you have to kind of tolerate it for a little bit. I don't know your situations out there, but you may need to tolerate it for a little bit. And so just stick with the superficial. Don't get too deep. Don't tell them anything, because they're not going to get it. And why put yourself through that? And my crazy self, I try to, get them to see my side and understand, and they're just so stuck. And it's so sad and disheartening for me to realize that they may be stuck for a very long time, but you're not going to take me down with you. Nope, no ma'am. Not I, said the duck. You're on your own with that. So just recognize those negative environments and spaces where you're being envied for your growth. Understand it and move along. You don't have to sulk in it and sit with it and try to fix it. It's not yours to fix. Just recognize it so you know how to move. You got to know how to move amongst the envy. Because not every time you're going to be able to block it out. Some things you can't block out everything. And some people you can't ghost everyone. So then the goal is to know how to stay true to your purpose and what you are doing amongst the negativity. But if you can, pluck it out. Or put them to the side and keep it going. Don't try to put them in your suitcase and pack them on your journey. They're not meant to go. Okay? There are no more seats on the aircraft for them. So Can't save them all. But recognize, peep game, recognize, and operate accordingly. Just understand they can't really help it. That survival mode will do it to you. Because survival mode, I want to be clear, survival mode there will be times that survival mode will have to be activated. Absolutely. I've been there in the past. Where you have no choice. But understand that survival mode is not meant to be a permanent residence. It is only a temporary resting place, rest stop. It's a temporary stop. Because the goal is to get out of it. Who wants to live there forever and ever and ever? Intentionally. That's not sustainable. Because again, it would affect your health eventually. Mental health and physical health. So that's going to be it for today. I was just blown away because the veil just removed itself completely. And I just sat there kind of like when it happened to me, I sat there and I was just like, just quietly having my own aha moment. Like I tuned them out after a while because I was having my aha moment. And I said, wow, makes sense. Got it. And I did like a little half smile. And I was just listening. And that annoyed them. I tell you, when you try to be positive, you try to understand, and you have your aha moments and you find yourself just smiling because you're understanding, everything is connecting and making sense. You have no choice but to say, I dodged that bullet. Who said I'm not smart? I dodged that. I saw that. You almost got me, but I didn't get me. And so they can't understand from their perspective because it's like, what the hell are you smiling about? Like I literally told you that you were weak. But your opinion no longer affects me. It no longer matters that much to me because you need help. And I recognize that you don't know everything either. And then you just pray for them. Because you realize while they're calling you weak, you probably are the strongest one in the room. Because you've redefined what strength means. So it's a lot of unlearning, and thank you guys for joining. Thank you for the support, and to all the people who have privately messaged me. I know when we talk about mental health and wellness, it's very difficult to put yourself out there. So I am in no way bothered or expecting. I'm not bothered by not having millions or thousands of views, likes, shares, and all those kinds of things, and comments, because I know it's a very difficult topic to unpack and discuss. And so that's why I do this wholeheartedly with the goal of just helping somebody. And so privately, you guys have been messaging me. A lot of you guys have been messaging me. People I didn't even know, watching it and saying how it's really helped. And it's actually doing its thing, men and women. It's really helped you guys, and you guys like it. So I'm happy to help, and please understand this is us helping each other, because I'm going through it too. I'm trying to figure it out along the way, and along the way, some things that work and don't work, I'm sharing with you, because I wished I had someone who would have shared with me things back then. I would have probably been a little guru right now. So I'm always up for, I'm not gonna know something or figure something out and not share it and keep it to myself. How are we going to help the collective like that? Yes, there are things you have to learn on your own, but there will be things that I can probably help with or learn from you. So I appreciate that. It means a world of difference. So keep letting me know that you guys like the content. It's confirmation for me to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it anyway until I no longer feel called to. But thank you guys again, and we will see you next week.